Fantastic. Thank you, Kat. Okay, let's get Bex up. Let's give them a round of applause. And Mikey, let's give them a round of applause. So, Bex, who's coming up, she is our children's worker, and she's employed 3 days a week. I'm sure she'll tell us a little bit about what she does, but she does leads the children's work on a Sunday, but also the midweek groups and also mentoring and in schools. And then Mikey is the youth leader, and he is employed, I can't remember, how many days a week? 3 days a week? 4 days a week. And he does Ignite, which is 11s to 14s, and Fuel, which is 14s to 18s, and that's on Sundays and midweek, and mentoring and all sorts of things as well, don't you? So we're going to interview them just to find out a little bit more about them and about their heart and passion, especially regarding youth and children. So, Mikey, what's it like having your mother-in-law as your boss? Is it all right?
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare, is it?
You're always there.
I'm always there. Every minute when you come round for dinner, I'm there, aren't I? And then when you go to work, I'm there.
It's like, gosh, Becca, go away. No, I'm joking.
I'm ever so sorry about that. It's quite hard. So if you don't know Mikey's married to my daughter. So it is quite hard for him, really, isn't it? Not being married to my daughter, but, you know, having me.
That can be hard too.
Oh, can it? I'm ever so sorry about that as well. So, yes, okay. So, anyway, you'll survive, I'm sure. So, just tell us, both of you, one after the other, of course, just tell us a little. I've known you, Bex, as well, or most of your life, I think, when you were a little girl, and you went to Summerley School, didn't you? And so I've known Bex most of her life, and I've known you a little bit, Mikey, but just tell us a little bit about your childhood, what it was like growing up for you, and how you found God, really.
Okay, so I kind of grew up in a mostly Christian family. My mum went to church. I grew up in Yapton Free Church, and for me that was really kind of foundational for me as a kid. There were so many people my age that are still my friends to this day, and we kind of just did. It's really cheesy, but we just did life together, did church together, and we grew up in youth and went to our Friday group and learned more about what it was to be a young person as a Christian in that time, and that was really amazing, and I kind of just grew from there. Really did all the classic youth things that you do, Soul Survivor, did that, and then it came to a point when I was at Yapton, and then I felt like I needed to move on from where I was. I felt like I wasn't, growing in my faith as much as I could have been. I was comfortable, and I needed to go somewhere else. So I moved to Bognor Vineyard, I was at Yapton for over 10 years, and then I went to Yapton Vineyard when I was 14, and that was a real incredible time for me. Again, growing in my faith and kind of owning it for myself rather than doing what my parents had done. I'd moved church, my parents were still at Yapton, and I was like, you know what, I'm taking this faith for my own. I'm not where they are. I can be free to do my faith how I feel God's leading me. Really it's just kind of gone from strength to strength. There's obviously been times when I was younger where I was like, oh, this is really hard. I don't know if this is it. Is this what I'm looking for? Is this Jesus stuff right? And, there was a point where I stopped going to church. And I was like, I don't know if this is it. And then I just came back to church and I was like, this is it. I've been missing this. I've been missing the community that church brings. I've been missing, missing feeling God's presence. I remember feeling like life was a bit empty. It was pointless. I was like, I'm not enjoying life at all. Like, and then, coming back to church, I was like, yes, there's life here. And that's kind of like, God is here, God is moving in this place. And I was like, this is where kind of why I need to be here.
Well, so you have such a heart for young people, but did you struggle as a young person? How was it for you when you were young?
Yeah, I mean, secondary school for me was really hard. I was bullied quite a lot, which was rubbish. But looking back on it, I don't think I would have changed it for anything, because it's made me a stronger, more resilient person. And also I feel like those young people today that are being bullied and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, do you know what, guys? It's not the end of the road. Like, there's more to life than just the 5 years or whatever that you're at school. Like, school is literally nothing in compared to the rest of your life. So for me, like, when a young person comes to me and they're like, I'm struggling at school, being bullied and stuff, I'm like just a massive advocate of being like, this is only a small part of your life. It's not everything. Stick close to God, stick close to the people that love you and want to support you, and then within a blink of an eye, school will be over, and then there'll be newer horizons to go on to. That was hard for me, but also kind of growing up in my family. My parents were amazing. They brought me up in an incredible way, and I'm so thankful for everything that they've done. But when I was must have been around 7, 8, I found out that my dad wasn't my real dad, and that was so hard to deal with. I remember finding out, and I was just in tears, crying. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't know how to process it, and that made me a really angry kind of, an angry child. And at early years of school, I was quite angry, and I didn't know why it was, but it was because just finding out, my dad wasn't my real dad, and it was this whole thing of kind of rejection. I felt rejected. I felt like I wasn't, there was something wrong with me, why my biological dad wasn't there. And I just had this real anger. If my parents ever spoke of my biological dad, I'd get proper angry. I'd hit the door. I'd just literally lose it. And I'm quite a nice guy now, so people would be like, whoa, you were angry? I was like, yeah. Although those that see me on the football pitch kind of would agree with that. I found that time really hard, and I know lots of people that think people that work in church have it all together, but we don't. We don't have it all together. I'm still dealing with, this now. I'm 25, and I found this out when I was 7, and I'm still dealing with it. There's times where it goes away. It seems like it goes away, and I don't really think about it. It doesn't bother me. But then there are times where kind of surfaces, and it's a lot to process. I don't know how to deal with it, and I'm just like, God, you know how to deal with it. Help me in this. Disappeared for a while. In the last couple of years, it's kind of come back up, and it's like, oh, how does this look like in my faith? How is my attitude towards this? Is it right? Is it not right? And I don't have it all sorted, but it's not about having it all sorted. It's about, relying on God that he can help me sort it.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Mikey. It's amazing. Bex, how about you?
Okay, so I've basically grown up in the church my whole life. I came here when I was 2, when my mum joined the church. And I've gone through all of the programs that Kickstart was once called TAG. That's what I went through. And then I went to Slam, and then it turned into Ignite in youth. And so, I've always grown up in a Christian family. Well, with my mum, she was a Christian. My dad wasn't a Christian. I would just live with my mum. It was, my faith was a very significant part of my life. And if I didn't have my faith, I know, there's no way I would still be here. Growing up wasn't easy, like Mikey said. At secondary school, I was also bullied, and I found it really tough. but my church family was so significant in that. So my youth workers, Andy and Pippa Harson and Becca Legg at that time, were like very, very significant people in my life. And had they not been like encouraging me and picking me up and carrying me when literally every day I'd be crying and being sick and not wanting to go to school and just feeling like nobody cares or loves me, like what's the point? But when I came to church or when I went to youth, that was all I ever wanted. I always only wanted to be there, and that was so important to have a faith at that time. So I wouldn't be still here if it wasn't for people getting behind me at a time when I felt so low and so insignificant. So that's kind of...
And so you started working as a children's worker, what was that, a year ago, was that?
Yeah, it's about 18 months ago.
18 months ago.
Yeah.
And just tell us about your journey with that and about what you have seen in the last 18 months, what you've witnessed with watching the children grow. Just tell us about
Okay. So I had no idea I was going to end up being the children's worker here. Never thought, really, that would be what I did. But I went to university, studied PE with the aim of being a PE teacher and following in the family footsteps. But then there was like something in me that was just like, that's not what I want to do. But I was very lost and thought, if I don't do this, what on earth am I actually going to do? And I didn't have a job. I got to the end of 2 years ago, and I was thinking, if I'm going to work in a school, I need a job by the end of July, and I don't have one. And on the last day of term, I was given a job in a school as a teaching assistant, and I thought, I know this isn't what I want to be doing, but it's the start. And I thought, look, I'll do it for a year, and we'll see what happens. That kind of didn't happen. I started that job and I did it for 3 months, and in that time the job at the church came up in December, and I thought, maybe I've got nothing to lose, I'll go for it. Let's see what I've grown up in the church. I've done Kickstart the event, I love the children, I love young people, let's see where this goes. And so I got the job, and then I felt like God spoke to me very clearly in that December and said, your life is going to change. And I was like, wow, what does that mean? At the time, I was in a relationship with someone. I've been with them for 6 years and they weren't a Christian. And, I knew as soon as I got the job at the church that couldn't carry on. So, that January or February, I just said to God, you have to help me because I can't end this on my own, but I know I can't carry on. So it was absolutely incredible. God just literally handed that breakup on a plate to me, and that was it. It was over, and it was like God transformed my life again in that moment from that January, and that has opened up my eyes, my heart to what God can really do when you just say, I'm laying this out on the floor for you. Just do whatever you want to do and we'll see where this goes. And so this role has been incredible. I've absolutely loved working with the children. They are amazing. We've seen children now coming in and praying for you. That was a dream I had, that we would have the children come in here and pray for the adults, and it's happened, and it's going to carry on happening. And that just inspires me and makes me emotional that our children will do that, and children will give their lives to Jesus and want to be on that journey. And it's not just our children here, but also our children in the community. I felt a real tension of knowing what to do with our community kids and our church kids, and how do we build them together? How do we stop the divide? How do we bring our community into our church? And So I kind of changed some things up, really, like more recently since January this year. And our Kickstart Wednesdays used to be like a smaller faith-based Sunday, but actually it's kind of changed more now, and we have like 30 community children coming, and they're starting a journey of faith, and they're like journeying with God, and they've got some horrific backgrounds, but yet they're like, they're wonderful, and they want to know about God, and they want to know what Jesus did, and they... Can I tell you a little story? Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I've tried to like structure it so that it's not just here's a Bible story, but kind of taking everyday language and everyday values and attaching that to a Bible story. So this particular week, we were looking at encouragement, and we were just thinking about how can we encourage people, how can we be kind to people, how can we spur people on. And I got them to write cards. I said, look, make a card, write it to whoever you'd like to write it to that you think needs encouraging or needs a friend at this time, whatever you like, and then go and give it to them. So they do this, and then the next week I have a parent come to me and say that a child in their school's parent had come up to them and said, thank you for what your child did. She has transformed my daughter's life. Now, this girl had written a card and said, keep going, it's going to be okay. Had given it to this girl in her class who was being bullied every day, and said to her, like, you're loved, you're valued, and you're important. And that child walked out of school that day for the first time with a smile on her face. And her mum said that has never, ever happened. And just because this one girl made that card and acted on it and did what we just were encouraging them to do. And now she comes every Wednesday. So she's there every week now. And we've just like, by sowing a seed into one child, she's then sown a seed into another without even knowing, and it's just amazing, and I just love it, and I just want it to happen more.
Absolutely amazing. So you've seen the children really grow, and some amazing things happen. Yeah. Thank you for all that you've done. Amazing. And Mikey, what have you seen in the last, how long have you been leading the youth for now?
3 years.
3 years. What have you seen happen and change, and any stories in that? Also, the interesting thing about Mikey is that he's just say about you've just got a new job, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a small role with Safe in Sussex, which is a women's charity that go into schools and kind of talk to young people about healthy relationships, but also talk to them about domestic abuse and how to look for that in relationships and stuff. And that has been like incredible. I knew nothing about domestic abuse or even Safe in Sussex, and going into that just for a couple of hours a week and going into schools and talking to young people, and it's not a faith thing. So bringing kind of my background with, my Christian background into that has been amazing, and kind of promoting healthy relationships and, just chatting to kids that I wouldn't really get to chat to because it's all over the area. So in Worthing and stuff, it's been amazing. And so Pippa works, and Pip Smith as well, for Safer in Sussex. Pippa's your boss, isn't it? Isn't she? Yeah, good. And you're the first male to be working in ever, isn't it, for that organisation? Yeah. So I'm the only male with 13 women. Brilliant, lucky you. Tell us a little bit about then what you've seen happen with the youth. I feel like there's loads, just because when I took over 3 years ago, it was great. Everyone had gone before me and done an incredible job, but I just came in thinking, right, how can the whole thing was growth, but not just growth numerically, just so I could say, oh, look how many we've got, but it's growth spiritually. I just felt it young people were just going, and it was just a bit, so-so. But I was like, right, come on, let's really get something going, something that impacts the area, the people around. And it was all just church kids there, and that's obviously great, but I didn't feel like we were impacting the community enough. So yeah, like since I've taken over, numerically we've grown, and I feel like spiritually we've just grown. Like so many of our young people have gone into their schools and have been like, do you know what, I'm a Christian, I'm proud of this is who I am. And then their friends are like, sick, I want to come to youth. Which has been absolutely incredible, just because like the whole thing isn't about like me going, I'm the youth leader, everyone look at me, look how great I am. It's about building up our young people so they are strong in their faith, so then they go out and they lead in where they are, in their schools. They bring their friends in, and then their friends' lives are changed, not through anything I've done, not necessarily through anything that the young people have done, but through what Jesus has done through us. So like that's been the main thing the whole time. And I think one of the biggest things that I've seen is just how many young people have said like, I want to come to Soul Survivor, no matter where they are in their faith journey. They may be just starting, they may have been on their faith journey for so long because their parents have brought them to church, and after Soul Survivor, they're just like, wow, I get it now. And I'm like, great, you come to Fuel, Ignite every week, I talk to you, nothing, go Soul Survivor, someone else talks to you and you get it. Fantastic, I'm doing a great job.
It's what always happens, isn't it?
But yeah, so it's literally like sowing the seeds, and if someone else, brings them up, then that's fantastic. It's not, it's not about what I do, but, bringing them to Soul Survivor, then coming home and just going, right, anyone up for getting baptised? And then everyone's just like, yes, I want to get baptised. I get it. I want this to be my own faith. I want to, this isn't my parents anymore. I'm going to go for it. And, this is going to be the most important thing in my life. And for me, that's huge. Because, I got baptised at 14, and for me, that was huge. And just to see young people start to do that as well, and I'm just like, you won't regret it. This is going to be incredible. Like, this is only the beginning of such a massive part. So yeah, I'd say that's.
And you've seen, like, what about the youth worship? Because you and Josh have been working on that. Yeah, Josh is just amazing, smashing it. So yeah, like me and Josh have been working with our young people in like a youth band, and growing them in their kind of musical abilities. They're all incredible musicians and singers. They're amazing. And it's been, since the whole time I've been here, I've wanted us to kind of grow our young people in music, because that's how I stayed in church. And to, you can be creative in church, and just to get them involved in a different kind of area, not just going to youth and that's it, but so they can invest and grow other people as well. So yeah, that's something I've wanted to start all along. And we had some worship nights where we got the guys from St. Peter's youth, and that was amazing, because like some of these guys watched them and were like, oh wow, I can do that. And that was like exactly what I wanted to happen, like to stir them and for them to be like, right, let's do this ourselves now. So we've been having, for the past year, we've been having like Arun Youth worship nights where we've been getting like 80 to 100 young people into the Whitbourne Centre to worship, and it's literally been incredible. Like we've had healings, we've had people come to know Jesus. It's been so amazing, and I know that it's not just going to stop there. I know there's so much more, like, there's still space in the Whitbourne. Like, let's get more young people there. There's more incredible things, like there's more healings that God can do in that time. There's more lives that he can change in that time. So we're excited for like the next year and what that brings, and the amazing things God's going to do with that and his plans for it, really. It's been brilliant, because I have to say, like, Mikey has got a tenacity about him. Like when he said, let's do youth worship nights, like I remember thinking, yeah, I'd love that, Mikey, but I don't know that anyone's going to really like that. Are they all going to fidget and mess around? And the first youth night, the time that you did youth worship, that people were messing around a bit, to be honest, weren't they? And I was thinking, well, I don't know if this is working. And then Mikey's like, this is what we're doing. We're gonna be this. And so then you carried on. And like I remember, like the last, there was 100 young people, most of which I have no idea. They're all from the community. And I'm like, community, that's not gonna work. Worship doesn't work they're gonna all fidget. I'm doing a talk. They're not gonna listen to, you could hear a pin drop in that room. I was like, wow, God is doing something amazing here. So that was amazing. What about, just very, very quickly at the end of what we're talking about, what's your heart and vision for the future? Mikey, do you want to start with that? And then...
I guess my heart and vision for the future is keep going. Like, the big thing that I kind of live with is, dream big, big enough, dream big enough that it scares the life out of you. And my dreams for Ignite and Fuel for Arun Youth scare the life out of me, because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, or I don't know how me and my team are going to do this. But, that's when, God comes into the picture, and I can't do it on my own, but with God, anything's possible. So, yeah, like that is like huge for me. But also, like, when you reach it, make your ceilings your new floor. So like you keep going up and up, and what we've got with our young people now is incredible, but I know that each and every one of them can go even further and do even more things, and we can impact Littlehampton and TLA and Angmering on an even bigger scale. So for me, it's just like even bigger. God's going to do more. So yeah,
that's amazing. Just say, because I know we're talking about young people in the church, but we have got Arun Youth Projects with Ben heading that up. Just say a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, so Ben Young runs Arun Youth Projects, which is like the community side of everything that we do. It's like all the youth clubs. So there's 5 youth clubs across the area. And Ben and his team run that, and it's absolutely fantastic. And that's literally... it's amazing because it reaches young people that we wouldn't necessarily get to connect with, young people who, don't attend the faith-based stuff. They just come in and they're like, oh, wow, like, why are you guys so nice? Why are you leaders really nice? And then we're like, we're Christians. We go to Arun Church. And then, they start to ask us questions about, why do we do things a certain way? Why don't we like them swearing? Why do we, I remember when I got married, they were like, why have you got married so young? I'm like, well, once you know, right? And they're like, huh? And they're like, and then talking to them about relationships, and then, you get to the nitty gritty stuff. You talk to them about sex and all that kind of stuff. And that's just like, yeah, Arun Youth Projects is just an incredible way just to chat with young people that, we wouldn't necessarily get a chance to talk with, and they're all amazing. And you do some
sessions with Arun Youth Projects, don't you?
Yeah.
And so does Bex, don't you? You both do. So brilliant. Thank you. What about you, Bex? What's the future for you?
Okay. Can I just add on the end of that? So working with Arun Youth Projects has also been amazing, because actually my volunteers on a Wednesday are in fact all our young people who attend our youth projects on a Friday night. They're not your kids you'd think would want to be helping out at your midweek faith groups, but they're there and they serve and they are on a journey themselves without even knowing it, and they're loving the kids and like discovering who they are. And some of them have written me a letter and they've just said, like, thank you for helping me discover myself. Thank you for helping me and inspiring me to be someone I never knew I could be. And I think so all the work that we're doing, they are overlapping all the time, and we're just like planting seeds everywhere, and you have no idea when that is all going to come in together. So yeah, I just wanted to drop that in. Well, the future is a bit different for me. Lots of you will know I'm actually off to Malawi from September. So I am leaving my role as the kids worker here. But my heart for our children isn't going. Like, it's still so here, and I so want to see even more children here. I so want to see and come back and see that we've got children praying and miracles are happening all the time. I want to see that we are encouraging our children and young people and getting behind them all the time, and that we've got the community families coming in on a Sunday, not just attending Kickstart the event and not just attending Wednesdays, but they're here on a Sunday morning, and that we're just widening our family. So I'd absolutely love to come back and see that. But my future is just going somewhere a bit different. I'm still going to be working with children. I'm going to work in a primary school and a youth club and do some swimming teaching, and kind of just see where God takes me. It was something I've always wanted to do. I had a dream when I was 8, had the dream twice when I was 8 that I would go and work with children in third world countries, and it's kind of like just come to a place of that being able to happen now. I kind of think, well, maybe I should have done it a few years ago when I finished university before I got a job, but I don't know, God's timing's always interesting. Like, as a teenager, I struggled quite a lot with anxiety, and really until I came into this role, I really struggled to kind of be on my own and like be okay with my own company. And I feel like I've come to that place. God's brought me to that place where now I'm like, okay, yeah, I am scared, but I'm nowhere near as frightened as I would have been, and I just know that God will look after me. So yeah, that's the new future.
Amazing. I'm sure that you will agree we have got some amazing youth and children's workers here, and they do an amazing job, as does Ben, who is and Emma. I mean, there's so many people in the team, aren't there? I think it would be really good. Thank you so much. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for all that you are doing. And we do pray God's blessing on the children and youth and on what you're doing, Bex, going abroad. I think it would be really great if we could finish. Maybe the band could come on up, but we'll finish by just praying. Is anybody involved in children? Anybody volunteer for our children and young people? Do you want to stand up if you're a volunteer? Just stand up if you've... We've also got Sparks is happening. That's our parent and toddler group. That's on a Thursday, and that happens every Thursday. And there were 100 people there last week. 100 people. How amazing. Coming to our mums, it's not mums and toddlers, it's parent and toddler, but 100 people coming to, do you know, every week as a church, us collectively together, we touch and we bless and we give to hundreds and hundreds of children and young people every single week, which is through what you give, through the volunteers here. Thank you so much, because it is making such an incredible difference. We are so grateful to you.